Wote Kembo Kembo na Tanzania Mazulu, King Fumu Kyakuisa, Nzambi Mawesha, Nzambi Okabenesa Zanwanene. No, Zambi Mpungu is not fiction. No, he's not a demon. No, he's not whatever these paleontologists or whatever these scientists, as they study Bantu culture, all of them are paid by the same people I'm going to talk about to say what they do. Okay? But there's more to the story. Bantu people, oh boy, they're going to get mad very soon. We're going to get into that. So let your people keep playing the game, because the world going to be so upset with Bana Betu, it's not even funny. We're going to get into that. And Wikichila, I hope you will listen. Welcome. If it's morning where you are, to Sikameni, all praises to the Most High Fumu Yahweh. We already said that long before Europeans. Okay, first of all, Europeans did not invent Christianity. That's a flat out lie. We're going to get into that too. Europeans did not invent Christianity. Okay, we're going to get into who invented Christianity. I saw a post, and this is why I just laugh, because they say that the Freemasons were infiltrated by devil worshippers. I'm gonna get into that because everybody's being played by the devil. Everybody's being played. This word is so Bantu Yaflamaze. That was how we call it, cheesehead. For those who don't know what a cheesehead is, that's the people who wear that cube on their forehead and they have the snake skin representation wrapped around their arm. That's what we call cheesehead. That is called a black cube of Saturn, okay, on the forehead. And yes, our people did wear it, and we shouldn't have been doing that. That's why the Most High is upset about our people. And people don't understand that right now what is happening to you is the biggest con ever. The biggest scam of the Canaan. This is the Canaanites, and they got everybody stupid right now. It's the Canaanites. And if you want to believe what they're telling you, because this is what happened, okay? The Canaanites and all the Hamitic tribes, because Yapeta wasn't like that until, Gogo Magogo. Get into that one. And what happened with Nimrod, Sumo Abum, we're gonna get into some things today, because where you're at, right? I'm not gonna play no music right now. I'm just gonna talk a little bit. I'm gonna show you why, because let me tell you about World War III, because you're already in it, okay? First of all, World War III won't be started by any country. This is the misnomer. World War III will not be started by any country. You're going to see what I'm talking about here in a minute. World War III is right there in the Bible. It's in the Bible. What they were going to do about World War III is connected to the plan that was in motion, that was already been going on since they formed Islam and Christianity and all that. And we're going to get into the Byzantine Empire. I really do understand that the word Plusia, which is now as Russia, was an Osa or Bana Betu connection of the, and now I'm learning more about how they did the Teutonic Knights. I'm gonna tell you the real truth about Mansa Musa. Please, y'all don't even know the story. This guy had Bana Betu slaves. Because of our people we don't listen. Simantoko Gonsalves Tata said that the church started with Abana, which you call Abraham. Now Christians say the church started with Christ. Complete bullcrap. Complete bullcrap. This is Rome's bullcrap. Okay? The church did not start with Christ. The church started with the one who told Nimrod, kick rocks. I'm not bowing down to any more. Then they tried to burn him, and he couldn't burn. Okay? He told Nimrod, kick rocks. That's where the kick rocks come from. Okay? Shake your sandals. He said, I'm done with that. Because he told his father at the time, he said, none of these idols can help us. I don't know why we even praying to them. Because Bantu people, we're stupid, bro. I'm telling you. Because Nsemu was a Bantu. The Bana Betu. You want to see Native American? I don't care about that no more because the problem is all them people about to be, the indigenous people are already in trouble. They don't even know what's about to happen. Okay? Keep playing this game about arguing America, Africa. It doesn't matter anymore because everybody about to be toasted. I'm trying to tell y'all. They got y'all so distracted with this stuff about who owned what land. You ain't going to have no land to own if it's on fire. That's what's about to go down right now. Okay? Everybody don't know what's going on right now because everybody's got their head in the sand. Christians, Muslim, Judaism, Buddha, it doesn't matter what belief you are, your head is in the sand. Okay? This is why they don't want people to know the truth. Because it walks you into the biggest trap you ever seen. Okay? This is what it said. The Bible said, the scripture, everybody say, oh, the Bible, we got religions older than Christianity. Christianity didn't exist. That's the problem. That's the problem. It did not exist. The scriptures were not written by the Christians. It's full bull crap. Okay, they did not write the Christians. They stole them. Okay, we're gonna get into that. They stole it. They didn't write it. Okay, and they had help for that too. Okay, you want to keep believing Nicolaitans? You be my guest. They stole it, and they used the evil twin brother to do that. All right, Christianity did not write the scriptures. They stole them. They translated them to fit the narrative that they have today. Okay, so let's get into it. Why is the world deceived right now? Because one group is now calling themselves something else, and they're calling the other group something else. The people who technically what you want to call the Canaanites, because they infiltrated everybody, okay? They come from the Kami Hamitic tribes. They are now saying that they are in Shem. And then what they're doing is they're telling you that the 12 tribes are Hamitic. This is what they're doing right now. Okay? This is what we talk about. The head became the tail and the tail became the head because the Canaanites were the tail. And the Bana Betu of Isayele, we were the head. So every time we go into captivity, they become the tail, we become the head. They become the head, we become the tail. And every time this happened, the Most High got to clear them out to get stuff back that we had. Now, let me get into what's going on. When Obana, he did not go to the place you want to call Palestine. Even now, when he called about the soliloquied people, this is what the Hittites became. When Antiochus slaughtered the pig to his god, Zeus, in the temple of Banza Salama, because Jerusalem means Heru. We did not. The Most High would never let us call no thing after no Horus. This is a Canaanite god, Okay? It was Salama. In Bonds of everything was in Bonds of Salama. They rewrote everything, man. Every map you see, they got to put that Jeru in it. It was never there. Everything was Kikongo. The Aramaic language is mixed up with three different people: the Hittites, the Edomites, and the Phoenicians, using Kikongo language. They erased the history for the reason, okay? It goes back to Psalms 83. They're talking about Bana Betu. Then what they did, especially the 3rd, 4th, and 5th century, they took the Bantu people, because this is how stupid we are. For those of us who said, we're not accepting the Messiah as a spiritual temple, we caused this problem. Listen to the idiots. When I'm talking about the idiots, I'm talking about Mount Hermon, which is where that was the mountain of the Canaanites. Okay? We're going to get into that. There's no way the Most High going to send us to no mountain of the Canaanites to go do no no welcoming in. Nothing. Okay? We went back to the mountains that were his. All right? You are calling the people who fought against Ramses and had a prison exchange and won the war and did their celebration, Jacob. Okay. You want to do that? That's your choice. They want to keep calling themselves Jacob? That's their choice. But I'm going to tell you right now, the one they called blasphemy was a Bana Betu of Isayele. That's why they want to destroy everything that he did. And then they have you thinking Yeshua came from the Hittites. Okay? Okay, fine. You want to think Yeshua came from the Hittites? You'd be my guest. You want to think that he came from the soliloquy people and they want to keep believing that? That's their choice. Okay? The Arabs, Ismaili, they come a wild donkey of themselves. Their whole story is fiction. I don't know who made that up. It got to be Lucifer, because they did not live in no Persia. Because the Persian Empire belonged to the Hamites. Okay? They didn't belong to no Ensemu, nothing. Ensemu was not even there. He couldn't even be there, because they give you the small piece of land to say this is where the world started, because they don't want to tell you about the supercontinent. Because they're lying about that too. The supercontinent is the problem. This is why they had to go with these millions and billions and whatever years. Yeah, you keep believing the manure god with that. The science was created by the Canaanites. All scientists come from the Canaanites, bro. And the Hamitic tribes. Okay? You keep believing the stork god, you be my guest. Because he's stupid. He think he's going to win this war. He's going to get his butt kicked today. It's about to be crazy. All right? Everything was designed for revenge of Cain. Cain's revenge, Cain's vendetta, Cain's everything against the Most High and his creation, because of the stupid guys that keep messing with people's head. They come from outer space. Yeah, right. Aliens. Give me a break, man. You listening to the stupid idiots that don't want to go to prison, that you let them out. Because we told people you're not talking to the right God. No, we know everything. They keep talking about aliens. There ain't no stupid aliens, people. And them Numerians are the ones talking about we the angels. No, they the halo. Okay? People are just, they see bright lights on, it's the same crap. They see the bright lights. Oh, that has to be an angel of truth. No. That's the whole concept. You don't question the spirit, you don't even know. All right? So where are we? Oh, where are we? Oh my gosh. You see what just happened? Everybody, Donald Trump, whatever. Okay. Donald Trump didn't do nothing. Because the flesh don't do nothing. The spirit does everything. That's why you battle against the spirit, because they took out and the governors and the principalities of this earth. The flesh don't do nothing. The flesh is obedient to the spirit of which you operating under. This is why they have to erase this concept with science. That was done on purpose. Okay. The Trojan horse is already in play. I done tell people, man, they Trojan horse, man, the Greeks, the beware of Greeks bearing gifts, but they really the Greeks that was really the Hittites because they done fall apart, and then they got broken up. The refuge. That's why they call the refugees, the Fugees, refugees. That's where they got the name from, refuge, because all these people was doing blood sacrifice to demons. Let's get into it. First of all, most of the world was black. I can't help people with their egos. And so your Petra looked like me, okay? Light skin, hair like mine. He wasn't no straight hair dude. But they say that most of the white people they think come from Yapeta. Okay, this is for education purpose only. So if the most of the white people they think come from Yapeta, then how is in Samuel Shem white? Why would he be? Because see, back then, this did not exist. We said you either had melanin, or you're leprous, or you're not. Okay, you're leprous because that's what they even give you the hint that many people got turned leprous in the Bible were people who had skin changed colors. That's why Cain rewrote it. You see, you're talking about white supremacy. It's Cain supremacy, people. They got you tricked with this concept. Everything is about Cain lying to people. That's all he is. He's a damn liar. Okay, even he's lying about what happened to the people with the descendants of Seta with the one Ganun. Ganun is where the word gun comes from, but that's not in the script. They said, oh, because it's not what do you call it, inspired Scott's gospel. You've never read the third, second, third, fourth book of Adam and Eve. And that is where his name is playing out as when they started to do music, uh, birth control, they did all that stuff. uh, Bars, hopping, everything. They had technology, uh, but of course they had these massive creatures. They call them. They kept. I'm gonna tell you the whole reason, the purpose of why you had these supernatural creatures. What they was trying to do. They needed to ruin everything so there was nothing to save. Just like they do it now. They needed to ruin everything so there was nothing to save. And they needed to destroy the ark so that there's no way the promise could be fulfilled about the spiritual temple. Because that's what it's all about. And they're fighting over this stupid leopard skin. It's like, man, this damn, oh my gosh. This damn woman, and because he's so stupid, this is what it's all about. My son should be the king. People don't even know. All right. The world is always going to go along with the false narrative when that's all you know. Okay? When all you know is the false narrative, you are always going to go along with the carpet. You're going to stay the lion in the cage. You're going to stay whatever. Why they don't like with people waking up? Because they coming out of the lion's not in the cage anymore, right? People starting to say, hey, wait a minute, man. We need to wake up. But there's a difference between fighting with the lion who's a bunch of hooey and the lion who isn't a bunch of hooey. The name Gomer Pyle, you might have remembered that. The rest of that should be Gomer Pyle of, okay. That's why they're laughing at you, because that's what it means. When Tatan Zombie had me look up Chuck Schumer's name, there's a reason why he's named Chuck and Schumer. He's laughing at you because Chucky is the code word for Esau. And Schumer means I'm not worth nothing. Okay. So that means somebody in his lineage that got the name Schumer because they say they're not worth anything. The same thing they're laughing with you with Nancy Pelosi. Nancy's first name means she's the bottom. And Pelosi in Latin means hairy, which means she's talking about the people who live in the cave. Captain Caveman. All right. What do you call the cave people? Hairy people. Okay. Harry and the Hendersons. Bigfoot. We're going to get into that here in a minute. So, because the height changes have been modified, you always think that somebody who's above 8 feet has to be a giant, when that used to be the average height. At one time, that was average. Okay, it was way high. They were way taller than that to be a giant. Some people, like they say, don't stand 500 feet tall, whatever. They was up there. All right, 30 feet, 40 feet, easy. That's a giant. Okay. Then they also had dwarfs, midgets, small people. This is all because when the knuckleheads started tampering with the creation, you have changes. When they went laying down with fallen angels are not perfect like the Most High, so they're going to have problems when they create things. They're not going to get it right because they can't be right. Okay? So you're going to have what they call side effects of this is where you get the whole concept of side effects. When you do this, whatever. You're going to be affected by something. Okay? I don't, if I tell people, they're going to want you to say I'm crazy. I watch these people, they don't even know the whole churchianity thing was by design. We're going to get into that. Okay? Let's go back to the real history of before the first century. What was really going on? For those of you who have read Maccabi, because that's how you really say it, it's not Maccabee, it's Maccabi. The issue we're running into is when the 12 tribes keep saying, we were better off with the heathen. We always slapping the Most High in the face. Now, the Soliloquy Kingdom, the one that used to be called the Hittites, they were in alliance because, see, Antiochus did not want to face the Roman Empire. So he was trying to avoid them because he wasn't like Alexander the Great. Okay, he was a different leader. And so, of course, Alexander the Great, he changed gods. This is why they hate him. He started listening to the god of the Bana Betu of Isayele and rejecting Zeus, which is really Enlil, which is really Lucifer. Okay? To go and destroy the Phoenicians and to round up Ngogo and Magogo at the time because they were doing the same stuff like they're always doing. Wicked, bad thing with children and, all that stuff and blood and these things. It was disgusting. Okay. The same problem that you talk about how, Rome became infested with prostitution, gambling, taxes, everything. That was Greece. Greece had that same problem. And this is even before, this is what we're talking about. Every civilization has had this issue. And this goes back to Babylon's problem. This is what Mesopotamia, this is all the Canaanite stuff. Their cities was horrible. Okay? Because this is the stuff that they started off doing, like in the days of Noah. So the concept was, now taxes, of course, that didn't start till later on with Egypt, when they started finding out a way with Khufu, when he was going to start taxing the dead. Now they kind of gave you the hint about the Tower of Giza, but they did it in the Stargate, but they kind of laughed it off. Like they said, well, they built by aliens. No, it was built by the stupid woman, okay? When Tatanzambi knocked down the Tower of Babel, she wanted that was a the uh the connection to all the other pyramids and the network that they were running off of to communicate with Orion, which is where the devil said, I will put I will put my kingdom above yours. You know how he said it. Okay, so you go ahead and keep thinking that you're going to keep praying to that, but whatever. So Orion was based off of what they now call Amun Ra, Amun and Ra. Okay, so at the time, though, that's not the name. The Babylonian gods had different names. So, but it was still the sun god. So if you're gonna go, and I can give you the name, I'll just put it up. I'm not gonna, like I said, I don't want distractions today. I just want to mention some things because we're at that point now. The sun god of ancient Babylon, because this is what we're having a problem on. All right. He was known as Samas or Shamas. Now, you have an organization that's being run in Israel called Hamas. Yeah. They know what they're doing, people. They're laughing at you. Okay? The Akkadian. And he was an ancient Mesopotamian sun god corresponding to the much older Sumerian Utu. He was believed to see everything uh, that happened in the world every day, and he was therefore responsible for justice and protection of travelers. Yep. What are we talking about again? Yeah, these Masons say we don't worship the devil. Okay, travelers, are you a traveling man? I know a person that even asked me that question. I'm like, no. Okay, so let's not say we don't worship the devil when this is the God that you're talking to. So now he says, as a divine judge, he could be, see, as a divine judge, he could be associated with the underworld. Additionally, he could serve as the god of divination, typically alongside the weather god ADAD. Oh, this is so and so news. You see the dude on the thing, Al Roker and everything. The temperature's going to be okay. We ain't going to get into that just yet. While he was universally regarded as one of the primary gods, he was particularly venerated as Sipar and Larsa. You take a sipper, sipping on some scissor. Okay, there's a song like that. You think, and then the moon god, Nana, which is a word they stole from us, which means eight, sin. The moon god, Nana, Sin, and his wife, Ningal. Who do you think that is? Were regarded as his parents, while his twin sister, Inanna, occasionally other goddesses such as Mansat, Pinkar, okay, Pinnaker, okay. Again, I know Pindar come from that. Could be regarded as sisters too, okay. The goddess Aya, Sharita was, I'm sure I know people that got the name Sharita, right? Was his wife. And multiple texts describe their daily reunions taking place on the mountain where the sun was better to set. Among their children was Kittim. Oh, Kittim, 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 Kittim. Rome. The personification judge dream deities such as Mamu, as well as the god Ishim Utu's name, Kutu. All right. Names of many foreign solar deal connection with Hurrian Solar and the I don't know how you spell this one. Shmige. All right, so okay, Akkad. Echad, Akkad, Echad. Ha! The ha sound. Why you think these people are really, I'm telling you, these are the priests of the Babylonian Empire, the Talmudists. Now, while new myths focusing on Utu are often figures of both Sumerian, according to narrative about Dumuzi, which is another word for Tammuz, or the shepherd, and to the Canaanites, Adon, Aden. How many people have children named Aden? Okay. He helped protect him with the Gala demons, tried to drag them to the underworld. So here you have the concept of how the devil plays both sides, because see, even in their concept, they have the God of justice and light and truth, and they have demons. But this is ancient Babylon. I keep trying to tell people the devil play both sides, man. But y'all gonna think that we stupid, whatever. Okay. Now, the ancient Babylonians are Cushites. The Bana Betu of Isayele, the original ancestor, is not a descendant of Ham. They reclassified us that way for a reason, so that Esau could continue to steal the birthright. That's what Toko was trying to explain to people. You're praying to Nimrod. I'm showing you right here. And then you got infiltration going on everywhere, including all these organizations that you don't understand. This spiritual Israel stuff is straight up bogus. And they had to do that because of the people who's not the bloodline. But we won't get into that in just a minute. All right. Now, why is this significant? Because this God, Shamash, is who all religions are praying to, including Christianity of today. Now, it may not have been the case back in the day, the first century as much, but today, yes, for doggone sure, because they did this on purpose. Okay. Why are they going to be so upset with Bana Betu? Because we never learned to stay away from the idiots, is why now we're being classified as Hamites, and why the Canaanites are being classified as Shemites. Through the Seleucid Empire, which is part of the Phoenician, so now their language is now our language, and our language is now wicked. This is why we talk about the fallen angels and how they play the game. The days of Noah, you're going to call good evil and evil good. This started over almost 1,000 years ago. Okay? Let's talk about what really happened and why we got attacked by Rome. The real reason. Because the Canaanite Empire had to find ways to scam their way into everybody's system, because they were considered the servants of everybody. So the fallen angels always gave them, through their process of sacrificing idols, ways to get back at all the people who they were now supposed to be under. Now, unfortunately, they had the build of the goddess, which they commonly called her, hold on, let me get into that. Okay. Yeah, she was commonly known as Ashira. Now, I'm going to show you how you can tell For anybody who has seen The Prince of Egypt, and I'm sure if children have watched it, cartoons have seen it, they probably heard the name even in when they talk about the Ten Commandments. You'll hear this name, Ashira. You probably heard the name in cartoons. We would say Asila. That's why the Most High hated us saying that, because it was still, you don't say other God's names. Now I pray that the Zam will help me with this, because I hate saying his name, because this is where we at. Okay? Excuse me. So let me break it down. And again, I'm just reading here because I'm not going to get into all the sharing and stuff. But it says, the Canaanite gods formed a complex pantheon for fertility, nature, cosmetic order, with key deities El. So when they keep talking about El Shaddai, and this is why the Most High get ticked off about us. We always Sadi, it's Asadi, not Sadai, okay? We always want to incorporate other people's stuff but ours, and this is what always gets us in trouble. The Supreme Creator God, the Supreme Creator God. Understand this. Because every single person is now about to find out this is where you are. I saw this guy. He's one of the major singers that I saw in the Congolese, and I saw this name, and nobody understands this is the God of the Shekinah. Now, of course, they say Shekinah because of the eye God, okay, but it was really pronounced Shekinah. This is who they're talking about. Then you get to the next God, Baal, Storm, Fertility King of Gods. Then Asherah, okay. Then you get into the Anat, War Goddess. Now, Anat, this is his equivalent in Roman Empire is Mars. Oh yeah, we going to Mars. I'm gonna tell y'all, man. And then of course the equivalent for him in I think it was yeah, Aries. Okay. Then you got the Love and War, Astarte. Then you had a god named Yam, and his equivalent is Neptune and Poseidon. Mot, M-O-T. They just changed it. They got the inflection. The inflection, Mot, became Mat. Telling you right now, the Most High didn't name nobody named the Matthew that you think. Now I'm gonna have Mateya, okay, but this, it has that all different changes. And then you had the Dagon, the god of grain. So this is why you got all these farmers out here, and people keep talking about what's going on with the grain, and they talk about this stuff with farming and everything with the grain and how they doing this and all that. And you don't understand it. This is why you're having problems with the stuff that they're doing to us because of this particular God. Okay? They worship, involve fertility rites, temple prostitute. Let me see. Temple prostitution, and sometimes child sacrifices. Ain't no sometimes. That's why they turn into to leprous. Now, if anybody was watching the movie, and I know he couldn't do too much, and I know Hollywood limits these people because when they get over there, sometimes when they walk into stuff, they don't quite know what they're getting themselves into, and so some of them, they have to go along with the show, but they already have made these oaths and stuff that people don't understand. Another name for the god All was Elyon. Now, if you've ever seen the movie Coming to America, that's what his mother called herself. But that is not, she's really supposed to be the Mwana Velala, the Mwana Nsemi. Okay? And you saw James Earl Jones he was doing a duality part. He had the lion draped upon him, and it had a duality. One represented Nimrod, the other rendered the Lion of Judah. This is how they put it in your face. And he said, I'm coming to America, but look, my bride. But then he told you, I'm a goat herder. Okay, who's the goat herder? That is the hypocrite Messiah. But he showed the color, oh, he was melanated. Yeah, because he was playing a duality role. He was both Messiah from a Yesaway, and he was also Tammuz because they both melanated. But he's also showing you these trickery, being tricked by Clarence. Okay? The twin brother of Toma. Didymus. That's why his name was Didymus. Twin brother, equal. Well, he said they always go out, they did in the movie 10 minutes apart. So he always make he still make, that's why I now know the decades of 10, now that why it became hundreds and now 10, now I get it. All right. So now, all of these deities that you and I had just mentioned, if you think that you are not worshiping these gods, you better think again. Because this is the gods of the Talmudic Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews. They're going to keep telling you we praying to the God of Moses. Sure, whatever. I don't care what they say. But that is not the case. Because if they was praying to the God of Moses, every last one of them would be dead already for the stuff that they're doing. And they know it. Because our people, this is what we got in trouble for. We got the, man, the stuff they keep talking about. That when I heard that Rabbi Finkelstein, I said, really? I said, no, if we were doing that, we'd be over. If that was the God of the 12 tribes. Because right there in the book of Jubilee, you are not supposed to drink any blood. So this is how you know they're not following the truth. Okay? Then they come telling you, what's the next thing? A goyim, or whatever they talk about goyim, is nothing. This scripture that literally tell the Most High said, the stranger is not to be what? Abused. This is in the Old Testament, people. This ain't new. He said, you were a stranger in their land, so you did not mistreat the stranger. So right there, they are already breaking the law, statutes, and commandments right there. By calling the goyim this and that, oh, they're priests of garbage. Okay, the Most High would already be jacking them up for that. You see, you better be, this is why I told people, you better be glad the Most High mercy endured forever, because now he's done. He's like, all right, there is no, I do not, and see the problem, like I told people, the Most High does not love Cain. He don't love Esau, and you better believe, I know he don't love Nimrod, because the stuff that Nimrod was doing, that's why he got, there's a reason why they call it the wall, and you don't even know the real history behind it. Okay? Yeah, he was, Okay. The only reason why these people, you're listening to these people, is because they're being controlled through the process of what they did with Sodom and Gomorrah, and the reason why they got blown up and destroyed like crazy. And those were Canaanite cities. Let me say it again. Those were Canaanite cities, and where they were and what happened to them, that's all part of the lie too. Okay? That's all part of the lie. Okay? The intent of a liar is to hide the truth so that you will not find it, but think you have it. That is what we would talk about when we say the devil speaks with a forked tongue. That's why the snake ended up with the forked tongue. The original reptile that the Most High created did not have a forked tongue. So let the scientists believe and tell you all they want with the stupidness, whatever. I'm not trusting science. No way. Because scientists work for Lucifer. Period. End of story. I'm not even going to go there. I know this because I taught it, and I know it's satanic. Why you think I've seen science teachers say, I'm done with this? Because it's satanic. But they ain't going to tell you that. Okay? The word beaker comes from the beak of the stork god. Okay? So you believe whatever you want, but you're not worshiping the devil. Okay? Let me break it down for people. You don't know what you are talking about if you think you are not worshiping the devil today. And I can prove it. Because he told his white people, YT, I say it, that the black people fought with him against the Most High. If you still believe that story today, then good luck with what's going to happen to you. Because it's the greatest piece of bull crap he's ever said in this creation. This is the biggest part of the problem right there. That lie. Okay? That is straight up baloney. But if you want to keep believing it, then this is why this is why people say, why are you helping us? Because you believe in some bull crap. This is not true. Okay? The next thing, the black people did not come from the Hamites. If you still believe that crap, I can't help you. The black race did not originate with Ham, with Kami. This is a bunch of lies because there was also black people in the other two sons. Okay? And someone had offspring that were dark skinned. So did Yapeta. These people lying to you. Because the concept is you cannot come from light to dark without some kind of chemical modification. It doesn't happen. To put melanin in requires some kind of infusion. To take melanin out does not. This is the problem. Not the way you think. Melanin is removed because that is the curse. You usually come out born that way. And then what they did, these entity board, oh my gosh. You don't even know, these so-called aliens, what they did. That they're now coming back and they're claiming their property. Because that's what they're doing. They're claiming their property now. The problem is they have pulled Bana Betu of Isayele as part of their trophies to be part of their property that shouldn't be there. This is the problem. And they use everybody around the world to do it. Okay? What are you really up against right now? The oligarch system is coming. Oh, yeah. When I heard what I heard about what is going to happen between Europe and America, and I said, if you can't tell by now that that's Revelation 17, I can't help you. Because, see, they could not teach you this if they didn't take the most weak-minded people ever to dumb you down into the stupidest lie ever told. Because the biggest deception about even the so-called War of Independence, there was melanated people in that fight that was engaged in it that wasn't all slaves, because they weren't. Some of them were not enslaved yet, but the war was paid for by the same people on both sides. Every time, dude. Every civilization they've been doing this. They fund both sides. They funded the British and they funded America. The same thing they did with French and England. The same thing they did with Spain and France. The same thing they did with Rome and this. The same thing. They funding both sides. Okay? They keep doing. I don't know why y'all didn't catch on to something. I didn't tell you. The whole world they've been doing this thing. That they know how it really works. Do you think they didn't do the Native Americans in the past already? They erased the history. They was over here. They were over. They start all these wars. The Canaanites. They funding the both sides because they have to make everybody the shell company because they can't own anything. See, when they convinced Nimrod that he was a god, because that's part of the problem, that he was better than the Most High, because that was his uncle, that was their uncle or their cousin. Yeah, because no, it was their. They was related. Okay, there was uncle, cousins, whatever they were. All right. This was always the problem. So they said, you should worship our gods instead of the God. They did this right there to him. I don't understand. They don't tell him, but they did the same thing. Oh, you better than the Most High. You. Okay. At this time, Yapeta and then Samu was worshiping the same God. The problem was the spiritual child that was created because of the drunkenness. And then what happened with Cain? All right. And then they opened back up the portal to Cybertron. Because they banished. Because the minute the Canaanites got deceived, they start worshiping false gods, they open back up the portal. And next thing, here we go. So they turned themselves into their own slave for that. That's their fault. They should have just took they should have said we should have never done that, but they did it anyway. Anyway, so the gods that got so that's why the Most High went to Noka and he said it wasn't my children. And he said, but why do you think I'm asking you? Kanani's over there doing some stuff. Okay, they bringing back these false gods. Okay, I just clean up the place. Of course, they say that some Nephilimites survived. Yeah, I have a feeling they did, but because some of them got beam me up Scotty before the flood. But they didn't do that to all to see the Cain. They got destroyed. So now, what you're not understanding, the people who died in the flood became demons. They were already demonic, that's why they got destroyed, but then they become spiritual demons. Because remember, the temple, the prisons was not designed for flesh, but the flesh didn't listen, so they got destroyed. And the Most High, he destroyed them giants and he destroyed everything. And now they're going to act like they don't exist because they're hiding. Okay? But it's like, this is the problem. You are defending the kingdom that hates you, and you are destroying the kingdom that's supposed to show you how to love the Most High by the reclassification of calling them Hamites. And see, I know you can believe whatever you want. The Hebrew Israelite camps were created by the fraternities and sororities of Alpha Psi Psi Omega, whatever you want to call them. They're involved with these same people. And I told my parents, I said, okay, The Boule is the most dangerous black people on the earth is the Boule. Dangerous people. Completely dangerous. Because if you don't do what they say, you know how it goes. The crime syndicates, the organized crime exists because of the Canaanites. And what happened to Kami and all his offspring and everything you're doing right now started with them. Okay. That's why I try to tell you Rome is completely illegal. But because you're intimidated by the army they forged through the Knights Templars, because the as they said it was called what the name of them? A second. The Teutonic Knight Order is a Catholic religious institution founded as a military society in 1190. Oh, who also was being called back together that they got our own people to hate us was Congo de Totela, that they're going to continue to lie and said it never existed before the 14, or this is a lie, because it was always called Mbanza Congo before that, and Mbanza Salama. This is the reason why we keep trying to tell people, no, you worship the devil because the devil telling you that Mbanza Congo and Mbanza Salama is all connected to Hamites, which is straight up baloney. It's crap. The Most High, Tatanyambe, the one you want to call mythology, we turned him into a pagan god because of our stupidity. When they talk about, oh, Zambesi, oh, yeah, this is mythology. No, it's what the bounty believe. Yeah, because we mixing Canaanite and non-Canaanite, we got in trouble for that. Again, that's why the world don't understand. Okay? But because our enemies, the Canaanites, flipped the script as they always do, they are telling you that the children of Yapeta mixed with them are Jacob. And then they're telling you the people that come from Mbanza Congo and Mbanza Salama, the Bana Betu of Isayele, we come from Cush, which is straight up crap because the Most High could not stand what the Cushites were doing. That Tanzambi hated the Cushites' ways. He couldn't stand it. See, this is what happens when you become the tail and not the head, and they become the head and not the tail, and the Most High has to turn the world over to the hands of the wicked because our people don't know how to behave. Okay? So now, we keep loving the ways of the heathen. Yeah, we said not to. That was not so now you think the people who fleeced Babylon in 500 BC when we were there as the slaves, they are now saying that we are now Jacob when we're back in Babylon again because we don't listen. We always got to build the temple, not be the temple. That was the problem. We always got to have a king, not use the Most High as the king. We don't listen. And then you try to tell each other to stop selling the bread and stop being ignorant. Oh, no, I can do whatever I want. No, you can't. This is what the Most High is getting tired of. We cannot do whatever we want to do. Bull crap. You don't know the Most High if you say, I can do whatever I want. No, you cannot. This is why the world's now in the same boat. They can just do whatever they want to do. Yeah. Because the example is you do it the Most High's way, there's no problem. You do it your way, everything is not going to work. And now, those of us who want to get away from the garbage have to keep putting up with the people who want to love the garbage. Because you didn't listen to the children who had to say, hey, hey, this ain't right. Oh, hush, child. You know, okay, okay. And back in the day, same problem. Oh, you don't know the elders. We know what we're talking about. This is what the Messiah had the problem with to begin with. If the elders knew, if the elders were doing it right, I wouldn't have to correct this. And you wouldn't have these imposters in my land, in the Most High's land, teaching garbage. Because that's what happened. Every time. And now, oh boy. It's going to get bad. That's all I'm going to tell you. Whatever you think is happening, it is not for the benefit of anybody of color race. Because the people, they don't even like the non-melanated people to begin with, and they doggone sure don't like the melanated people. Cannot stand you. And now you really think that they're going to help you? You fool yourself. If you think that these people are going to help you after what they're doing right now, you are being played. They talk about we're going to be peace and what? They cannot have peace. Okay? They cannot do it. If they were the people of the book, they would have peace already. If they were brought together, say, oh yeah, we the 12, they have peace already. Nah, now they're going to bring ultimate destruction upon you because they're going to start World War III, people. I'm telling you. Yeah, go right ahead. No, these people have already said it. We are going to get revenge for our temple that wasn't theirs to begin with, okay? And we're going to get even for what happened to us when we had to get whooped by Rome when they were the Khazars. Yep. They've been getting even. They had a grudge the whole time. They never stopped having a grudge, and they still keep the grudge going, and they're still going to keep get the grudge, and they use the people to keep doing the grudge, and the grudge, and the grudge, and oh, now they're saying, yeah, we got it. We finished. We did the ultimate conquer. Okay, we on the top, and we got everybody under the bull crap. So then, of course, when the people who want to get under the bull crap start waking up to it, it's like, oh no, 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 no. We're gonna stop this. Because they've been lying to their own people for years, and they've been lying about what they did with Yakubi. And see, what Simone Kimbangu and Simone Toko was trying to help us to understand, like many others in the past, that nobody want to listen, is the minute you trust the jackass, you are already done. You never trust the hypocrites. When you trust the hypocrites, you are already history. Goodbye. You don't learn nothing. So it doesn't matter how nice you act. It doesn't matter how much you love people. if you are loving a pile of garbage without knowing it, that pile of garbage is now going to consume you because that's what happened. And what I'm talking about is the hypocrite gods. They were a pile of garbage and they tricked you that they was the best thing. Oh yeah, because they always want to do the magic and say, look at our kingdom, it's so much better than the Most High's, and look, grass is greener on the other side, and look what's going on. So now, every day and every second moving forward from after they hit February 1st, oh my gosh. Because Groundhog Day is over. They kept you in this time loop. They said, oh no, we got to reset this. What we created back in the 1800s, we can't let it all go because we worked too hard for this. And they know it. What they created in the 1800s to now, they're like, hey, we're not going to let it go. We're going to finish this. Yep. You better believe they're going to finish it. Because see, this is what happens when you trust the snake without realizing you're trusting the snake. Now you're about to get towed up. You trusted you believed that the wolves in sheep clothing and brood of vipers were not messing you over when they were tearing you. When now you're going to see they fooled you. And I just not that's about the Bana Betu of Isayele and the people who were converted. And it's like now the ones who were supposed to get the crumbs and not the bread, oh, they about to tear it up. Okay? Because they ready to restart, because they want everybody to be exactly how they want them, and this and that, and you're going to bow down to us, and you're going to do what you're going to do, and la 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 la. And oh yeah, the Messiah comes from us. If you love him, you're going to love him too. He did not come from them. If you haven't figured that out by now, we cannot help you. He did not come from hypocrites. He did not come from the kingdom of the Turks. Okay, so let me get into this. Why did the Khazarian Empire unite with the Byzantine Empire? To destroy it, which is what they're doing even now. Because when Tatanzambi and Mfumu Yesue were after all the destruction of the Most High's kingdom, they moved the churches into where they went. They went up into the areas well, it wasn't just there. They went up all the way into the areas going into where you now call Turkey. Well, these people didn't like that. They was like, no, you're not putting it here. This is our land. Okay. So they schemed and they were working to destroy these churches, all of them, every last one of them. That's why you get in the part in the scripture where it says, when he was talking to the seven churches, like, what are y'all doing? Who do you think caused that? Okay? So because many of Magog, this is what they were really called, many of Magog got baptized, the publicans, the harlots, people started to get, changed, and they hated it because they wanted revenge for what the Most High was doing, what happened to them. So they were scheming and plotting. They was like, oh no, we're gonna destroy this. Because the devil always wants revenge for being humiliated by the Most High and being exposed for what he really is, a liar. And they slapped the Most High in the face when he said, we have no God but Caesar. And they had our people saying the same thing. Of course, they fulfilled the scriptures about what happened to the Messiah, but then they turned around and switched it so that all your entire life you would affiliate yourself with the one who was a fraud. This is why they changed the original scriptures to say that. Now, the fraud created Christianity. So don't tell me, as a Mason or whatever you don't worship the devil, because they gave you the fraud in the first century to worship since Nero. Because what happened is he went out and destroyed all the other people, and that's why the Mosai took out the other temple. Because even when it says it, when Antiochus came to slaughter, they even calling it the second temple. So where was the first? That's the lie. Where was the first temple? In reality, that got split up even down there because the Most High said it. When Solomon built the temple, he said, I'm going to divide your kingdom into thirds. I'm going to leave you a third of the kingdom. Where do you think they get the 33 from? And the third of the knowledge. Okay? That's their 33 right there. Okay? So don't tell me you don't worship the devil, people. This joker is playing you. And everybody going to sit there and say, my pastor don't lie. He was taught to lie. Don't tell me that the Imam and Farrakhan and Muhammad, and they don't lie. No, they were taught to lie. Okay? And don't tell me my teachers don't lie to me. No, your teachers were taught to lie because they were not given the information to show you how to get out of the lie. And then everybody who works for them is watching to make sure you don't come out of the lie. That's why it's called a matrix. And he did it 7 times, 7 kingdoms, 10 crowns. They don't want anybody to find the truth. And this goes back to why they altered the history and erased it. Thousands of years gone. Okay, you don't even know. All right. And now they're telling you, anybody that criticizes this ally, yeah, you're criticizing the Canaanites. Okay. And the people who converted in the Germanic tribes and all this other stuff is like, nah, I'm gonna criticize Esau all day long. I don't care. Because he is partly responsible, or actually he is responsible, for why Jacob is now called Hamitic, and then the other people are called Semitic. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. Congratulations. For everybody that want to go cooning and buffooning and jumping up and down and acting crazy and, oh, thank you, Lord, and thank you, Jesus, you just caught your one-way ticket to hell. Because I'm trying to tell y'all, all of you that said, we're supporting these people, yeah, okay. The Palestinians are still worshiping Lucifer. That's what's happening to them. He's playing both sides. Okay? All religions, they took away the option that gets you out of hell because you're already in it. You know, I heard the brother in Africa, he said Africans are already in hell. Yeah, they are. But you can make hell look like an oasis. Look at what they did with they invented they invented Las Vegas on purpose. They took everything, animals, people, and turned it into competition. Now you just like it like it's nothing. Oh, I enjoy being this. They come on TV. Oh, I enjoy. You don't understand that. They laughing at you because they're getting even with the Most High. And they do the one for one. Oh, this is going to save an animal, and then they kill an animal. Oh, they're going to save a person, and then they kill a person. And you don't understand how it works. The same people, and I commend the actor when Nicolas Cage he did. This is exactly what happened to him in that movie when he was an arms dealer. Is exactly how it goes for all of them. He said, "Yeah, I know you think you arrested me, but there's gonna be a phone call, and I'm walking out of here." You want to know how many times that happens? Where you think they arrested somebody for something, we gotta we gotta do what? We gotta let them go. Are you what? Who's pulling the strings on that? Who do you think? Because the same people that's paying the people to track the criminals is the same people that's paying the people to free the criminals that they use for what they want to do. I've already said this to you many times. They create the chaos so you have a reason to point fingers. They tell you what's causing it, and then they give you the solution, while in reality, they all sitting there laughing because they never get in trouble. Yet. And they go, oh, come on and let's keep doing what we do, and let's go ahead and keep going where we're going. Of course, they're going to keep telling the story backwards. When we're talking about every civilization, it's the same story. Different timeline. The Canaanites are going to always play the victim. Yeah, that's what they do because that's who they are. Oh, we got a bad rap from the Most High because we on the bottom and la 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 la. That's why they took down the video that one of the persons made that showed it. I'm like, yeah, they took it straight down because they gave it and then they put us in slavery. Yep. They turned everybody into a shell corporation. If you think that what's happening now in the U.S. Virgin Islands that I saw is connected to what's going on on what do you call it? Little St. James. And his name wasn't even James. It was Jacobo. They changed all the name. I mean, they made sure that all the names got changed so that even all the frequencies would resonate differently. And they did everything they needed to do. And like I said, they are the ones, when it says in the scriptures, they shall make war against the land, but he shall overcome them. They are the soliloquied empire is running that war against him. And they turned the so-called church against their own Messiah. That's what they did. And they did the same thing with Islam. They turned Islam against the God of the 12 tribes too. And they are against him. So then the Hebrew Israelites, so-called Hebrew Israelites, they turned them against him. You don't even know the whole story. The problem is they also have been able to successfully do the same thing with the so-called people that's helping us, the Tokwis and the Kimbanguis. They did it too. I watched it. I'm seeing it. I know they have infiltrated those guys. They think they're not praying to the Canaanite gods. They're going to be in for a rude awakening. Because Tokwe and Kimbangu already said they are compromised. This is not, it said, I told you, the Anunnaki can pretend to be anybody. They'll play that game with you. You don't test the spirit, it's not the Most High. We try and tell people that. I already know this is why they hate what I'm doing and they keep attacking me. I already know what's going on with me. They did so much. Let me tell you something. And I really commend that. I mean, I listened to that guy that was, they said he passed away. The CIA, it's more than, it's a couple of them. Several of them did this. The problem is they're still hung up on a country that was never created the way you think. Everybody's being lied to about the United States of America. Everybody. The sole purpose of the United States of America, and it wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for what the Bana Betu did, is to finish the job. That's what they used it for. They used it to erase all of their enemies. And now they got their wish, because this is exactly what they did. So it's like I said, you gave them the state that they wanted, that got set up. You gave them everything you wanted to get ready to go against Rome again, that got set up. And then you gave them the platform to destroy their greatest enemy, the bloodline. That got set up, okay? So now everybody is destroying the people meant to help you get to the truth. And then we have our own people still being hard-headed and stiff-necked and not listening, that you have been bamboozled and hoodwinked by so many Judas goats. And they're still out here running around acting like, oh yeah, they're still doing it. So let me give you the 411 on what's coming down the pipe. Yeah, because Albert Pike was the one that was orchestrating this, and he was straight up, oh my gosh, you don't even know. They set it all up. There is no out. Let me say it again. There is no out of anything if you have already decided to keep listening to the lies. You have no out. If you keep following all of the false narratives, you have no out. You are stuck with the liar. It's over. And they really think that there's people that ain't going to get pardons because they think they won the game, that everybody is cursing the Most High and the Holy Spirit. Nah, that didn't happen. But I'm here to tell you that starting next month, and I already know it's about to happen because it's already starting, you had better hold on to your seats. Because for the next 9 months, I can't even begin to imagine, because they are now ready. Why do you think they have initiated this whole thing with Iran? The dude was talking about the whole thing with Iran. Yeah, I saw it. It's funny because that whole narrative started 31 years ago with Netanyahu. Funny thing happened to me 31 years ago with the enemy that people aren't even aware of. That people didn't want to understand. I said, I know what he tried to do. Okay? There's a lot of people that got in their own way. I can tell them I'm dealing with my issues. I already know why. But it's because a lot of people didn't want me to do my job. A whole lot of them didn't. But you have no idea. They did everything possible. They knew I was, you got to understand, these people have foresight. They don't live by, man, they lying to you if they don't see things ahead of time. They was ready for this. They just trying to figure out how to get around it and do what they needed to do to stop it. Okay? The plan that they laid out in the 1700s is working to perfection for those who still sleeping. If you gonna understand what's about to happen to you now, I can't help you. We can't do nothing now. It's too late. Because they already starting the next phase. They have the United States Congress. They have, well, let me put it like this. They have almost every government in the world compromised. All of them. All of them. Okay? They gonna get they gonna get Russia to do what they want. I'm gonna tell you how they're gonna do it. Watch what's gonna happen. The Russian people, they gonna revolt. They gonna get another communist. You remember what happened when they did the Bolsheviks and they did the Communist Party and all that other stuff? You watch this because some stuff gonna come out for the Russians that's gonna get them so mad at America, at the world, and everybody else. You watch. They gonna get Russia pissed off because there's some stuff about to come out. I'm doing it right now because the whole concept, the Most High told me, he said, no, Russia got a raw deal. And whose fault is that? Ours. Because if we would have done what we're supposed to do, we left them hanging back in the first century. Yes, we did. We left them hanging for 2,000 years. We left them hanging because they saw when our kingdom was starting to rise up in the 1100s and 1200s, they was like, yeah, we about to be done with these liars. And what did we do? Well, we go sign. The Roman Empire was ready to collapse in the 1200s. You don't even know. The Roman Empire was ready to collapse. Who breathed life back into them? We did. So you keep blaming the colonizer and all this other stuff about what happened. They would have had nothing if the Bana Betu of Isayele were united and quit fighting each other and quit being stupid about who's supposed to be doing what. There is no colonization. It doesn't happen. Because at that point, with the Byzantine Empire, they were already starting to come out of the Julian calendar, and the Ottoman Empire would have never risen up because those are the remnants of the Khazars. The whole history in Europe is so fraudulent about why these entities were able to rise up. There would have been Islam would have, man, it would have been over. Okay? Because the had we stayed where we were supposed to be at, all the other powers would have lost steam because they would have failed. We would have brought down the kingdom. Lucifer's power would have been over. His trickery, he was on life support like this. About to go down. Oh. He was on life support like, oh, going down. Next thing you know, you don't even know. He was on life support like, oh. And we gave him power. That's what really happened in the 1400s, people. He was on life support. And the Bana Betu of Isayele, because of the blessing, and they had to, I mean, like I said, they got to fulfill the book. But we had a chance to finish it off. We could have been done. We could have been gone. Okay? Toko already said it. I already fixed it. But no. Everybody got to be who they want to be. And I told people, man, what's going to come out in the next few months, they're going to look at us and they're going to say, why did you do this to us? You could have made our lives, we went through hell for all of this. Why did you people not just say no? Why did you do this to us? We don't understand. Why did you do it? You could have helped us a long time ago. This is why they're going to get frustrated. You let them classify you as Hamitic people, and you stayed there and worshiped these gods, and we got tore up for nothing. When they're gonna see what has all happened to them, they've been telling you, they're gonna see it, they're gonna say, man, the good part is the scripture that says the nations will bring you home. That is the scripture they was trying to counter. Yeah, the nations brought home the wrong baby. All right. Oh yeah, the nation's gonna bring you home. Yeah, that's how they flipped this, that's how they changed it. The nations are gonna bring you home. Yeah. Yeah, that's us. No, yeah. The nation's gonna bring you home. Yeah, 1945. Don't think that Most High didn't think they can fix that. It said they tried to hijack that scripture right there where it says the nations will bring you home. Yeah, they brought home the wrong. It's like when you uh when you go to the hospital and you discover that, and this has happened to people. Did we get the right baby? This can't be right. Or you get a dog, you bring home a dog. Wait a minute, this dog he started be what the heck's going what's wrong what's going on with this dog? Okay, you brought home the wrong twin, and he out there fronting like, yeah, you brought Jacob back to his kingdom. And he got everybody fooled with this. Everybody fooled. Not even the so-called people who think they're not praying to him. The way he got everybody tricked. Yeah, you brought home the wrong baby. That's what the secret society don't understand. You help them, the secret societies help bring home the wrong twin. But what this is going to do is going to fulfill the scripture where he says, I know the blasphemy of them who say, and then he also going to bring the sickle and the wheat and the tares. So congratulations, you brought the wrong people home. Now you're going to pay for it. And the people who should have been brought home, and see the people that's coming home right now, they fighting through a nightmare to where they coming back to. It's like, yeah, it's all nice and good. Till what? Till you discover everything. What we paying for? They charging you to come back to the kingdom that you belong to. Hello? Oh, but this is your kingdom. This is now they playing that game. That was all set up. Oh, you're supposed to be over here. You're supposed to be over there. You're supposed to they still playing that game. You're trying to come home and and people out here running game on you. What the heck? What's going on here? How come? What is this? You're not understanding me, people. You should have walked back to our kingdom, the Bana Betu of Isayele, with trillions of dollars in your pocket. Easy. Trillions of dollars in your pocket. Trillions of dollars. Watch what's going to happen now. They did not do the right way. Because if we would have come home with the money that belongs to us, there's no need to ask for anything. You already got it. Remember how he says coming back to the land of Canaan, you got to watch all these people scamming you? Okay? And the sad part about it, we learned a whole lot of information. And if you would have noticed it, we would have had the trillions of dollars like what they got right now, what they're talking about, there would have been no problem. Everything would be taken care of. This is how they set up these, like I said, they put these governments in place to rob the people trying to come back home. Because that's what they're doing. And they're lying about it. Because they got all these religions created up here that have decimated our kingdom that we have nothing to do with. Islam, Judaism, Christianity, whatever you want to call it, all of it is a lie. Hebrew Israelites over there doing what they do, and the Tokwis Kimbangu is supposed to be one. Like, what the heck's going on here? Y'all don't understand what we're talking about. Yeah, the diaspora coming home empty-handed. Then they're trying to say, oh, we can't do it. And you don't understand. Okay? Hold on. This is what we're talking about, people. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to be talking so much, but this is where everybody about to find out. The one that the Most High calls the bastards, you brought them home. And the one that the Most High said, I'm bringing back the ones who were bastards but are returning, they're trying to make sure that all of them stay bastards. This is what has happened. That was the plan. Like I said, in the days of Noah, they tried to ruin all the animals so that there would be nothing to go on the ark and then destroy it. That was their plan. This time, they said, we're going to make sure they bring home the wrong twin, the wrong people. You're going to be under the wrong Messiah, everything. And build a temple. They already built the third temple. You don't even know. Okay? Everybody about to be in for a surprise coming up in the next few months, people. All praise Zola Kringi Samalolo. Is in Wezi Yabi Kongo Kutwala. Ingit, all praises.